Just want to point out a couple of things about this first Rousseau reading from The Social Contract. He begins by saying this. Let me make it bigger. I mean to inquire if, in the civil order, there can be any sure and legitimate rule of administration. I think the really important word there is legitimate. This book is about power, as most of what we've read is about power. But it's about legitimate power, or how power can be made to be legitimate. And I think that that's really the key. I mean, I think there is a recognition here, which is similar to the recognition in Hobbes and Locke, that government is necessary, but it's problematic. That is, and this problematic nature of government is right here in this striking line from first book: man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. Human beings, as Hobbes recognized, as Locke recognized, are fundamentally free. That is the natural condition of human beings is a condition of freedom, and so one might say that it is necessary for human beings to live freely, to be free. It's their birthright. But here, Rousseau says, everywhere they are in chains. This is a problem, right? How can you have a situation in which human beings retain their freedom? They keep their birthright of freedom, yet at the same time have government, because government's necessary. It was clear that Hobbes and Locke themselves offered a kind of solution to that, especially Locke, I would say. How can you be both free and a member of civil society at the same time? I would say that is the question that Rousseau is taking up in a kind of a fresh way. Now, why would he say that everywhere human beings are in chains? Well, it can't be simply because human beings live under governments. Because if just living under a government, living in civil society, meant that you were unfree, that you were in chains, then the problem would be insoluble. That is, there would be an either or. Either we should all stay in the state of nature, or we have to give up our freedom entirely and be in the state of civil society. I think that what you can read the Social Contract is trying to do is to try to imagine a situation in which people can have both, in which they can both be free and where they can have some form of government. But that government has to be legitimate. It can't just be power. And one of the things that Rousseau really hates is this idea that might makes right. And it's really the worst idea, this idea of the right of the strongest. That political power is just, the right of whoever's strongest to rule has a right to rule. Rousseau thinks that's an absurd and really damaging, harmful idea, that we have to find some way to imagine political power as being legitimate. That is, not just the strongest rule, but to have some kind of situation where whatever governmental authority there is deserves to rule. And that's really what legitimacy would be. And certainly Locke was trying to work out the same problem.